Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Benjamin Nowak. I'm the founder and CEO of Cinamaker. Cinamaker is a content creation tool. It's video storytelling for everyone. I'd invite you to come see us right underneath that Cinamaker sign when I'm done. Today I'm here to talk to you about live editing and what we're calling Live Editing 2.0. We're going to just briefly touch on the live cut, and what has been done historically and what live production is like today. We're going to touch on how disruption is driving new production models and the necessity for faster workflows, and how IP video has changed things and enables a level of interaction and integration that wasn't possible before. And then just a brief comparison of what we're calling live editing 1.0 versus 2.0 is 1.0 being the live cut itself. And then lastly, we'll talk about what some modern workflows may look like using IP technology and real-time live editing. So, what is it? I'm sure everybody in this room is very well aware. Live cut is a video produced in real time while you're recording. You make your edit decisions, camera decisions, graphics and play media. This is very common in all live production and is becoming a more popular way of creating a finished product even. Live production tools are increasingly becoming more affordable, easier to operate, and accessible to a larger audience. Not very long ago, if you were doing live production, you had to be using a system like this, or here, and things have gotten a little smaller, and there's new formats. There's even all the way down to desktop computer solutions and affordable mixer boards like the ATM and a handful of others. And then going further down the chain, we have Cinamaker, which is iPad-based live video production. So why should anybody care about a new workflow or live editing when everything works the way it should? Mobile has changed everything. That's mobile content creation, mobile content consumption. There are an unlimited amount of new channels available to distribute your content on, and static and interactive. There are many, many more content creators than there were. YouTube put a billion number out there of new creators. May not be that large, but it's pretty significant. And everybody can be a creator now with the devices in their pockets. And they're becoming increasingly a more common tool for content creation, of course. Not for this audience as much. And consumers are hungry. It's been proven that video provides engagement in corporate marketing. The brands are embracing using video, broadcasting everything live, archiving events, product demos, interviews, testimonials. That people want to consume video, and it's very effective. And then there's the social video networks. This is the LiveMe, the Lively. These are what kids today, teenagers and younger, are going to be what they consume in the future. These are interactive environments, and there'll soon be very rich interactive content where today's linear content is no longer interesting to a newer generation. So that's kind of forcing some change. And then lastly, which resonates, most, I think, biggest with this audience here, is the cost and the speed of production. Lowering the cost of production and increasing the speed is becoming increasingly important for all these factors I just mentioned above. So, we believe IP video changes everything. With IP video, you get the speed and connectivity of the internet. This is a networked environment. This is a local network or cloud network. It's based on open standards in the IT industry, which allows really things to flourish very rapidly. And we're talking about software-driven workflows. Now, even, this is a big topic, but for production, there are significant advantages to automating your workflows and for specific use cases or just in general, and just cuts out a lot of labor and automation. All right, so as I mentioned, live editing 1.0 is really just a live cut that most people are familiar with. This is a linear cut. It's not an interactive process. You just go with time, you make your selections. Usually this cut is done during your recording. It can be done in post, but with traditional tools, archiving, retrieving, setting things up aren't necessarily that easily done, versus digital, where it can be transparent and instant access. And then there are much more limited use cases to do a live cut versus when you have the interactivity of IP and digital. So live editing 2.0, non-linear. You can do your cut while you're live or after because it doesn't matter. All your source footage is right there available to you. Archive and retrieve media easy, and there's unlimited use cases because you get nonlinear editing. You still are in a real-time workflow, so but you can move your scrub bar to where you want to re-record and change your edit decisions or load new graphics or swap things out and cut and copy paste through your timeline. So now you have a very simple real-time editor. I need some water. Excuse me one moment. I didn't realize how parched I was. Stage yet to go get water? All right. So these are some of the attributes of what live editing 2.0 means. Your media is automatically transferred and managed and archived in the background. Synchronization is something that's taken care of for you. If your camera is on a network or your audio device, standards and synchronization become something you don't have to worry about. You can do multiple cuts. Real-time editing is basically doing a live cut in post. So you can cut it as many times as you want. You can recut portions of it and build your content in real time. And then lastly, which is very powerful, and it's something that our app does, is it allows you to move between a real-time editing workflow and a traditional non-linear workflow like with Apple Final Cut Pro and Adobe Premiere, Avid. What we're able to do with our system is we pass all your synchronized media and all of your metadata from your edit decisions and your media objects that you play, and we pass that into a traditional timeline, and so your first cut is already done. So it's a high degree of automation when you're doing this editing in real time. Let's see here. All right, so examples of software-defined modern workflows for production include, automating the entire process from the acquisition to the ultimate distribution. That's done via many systems today and many different configurations. But the need to have that as a fluid process becomes very important to be able to enable some of this productivity gains through these tools. It needs to be common that you have remote control of your cameras in live preview and you don't have to run around to set things up. IP lets you do this pretty easily. Transparent and automated media management, archive, forgive me if I'm repeating some things here. Real-time editing, what we've been talking about here, doing that live or in post. And then the feature I described, metadata capture of your edits, decisions, and media that you're doing during a live edit or a live stream, passing that in to a traditional workflow like Final Cut Pro and others. And the other big advancement of these workflows is they're based on open standards and they're easy to integrate. For media, there's new specifications for interoperability. There's private ones and a variety of choices, and the market's kind of figuring it all out. And then it's very easy to integrate data services into that. I've got a screen capture of our app. Sorry for the shameless self-promotion, but again, this is all you really need for a simple live production. So all this runs on an iPad. You can see, you make your edit decisions, you have a graphics engine. I'm not going to tell you about all the features, but if you come to my booth, I will. And this, so you'll see here on the bottom, just as an example, these lines these are different camera decisions that are made along the way. These graphic objects, picture-in-picture, movies, text objects, they turn on and off based on your time code. So you can go re-record sections or part of it, and we've just made it really, really simple. And then you can see I just made these captures, so forgive the content. And then you can pull it into something like Final Cut, and your edit decisions are already transferred there. I've got no media objects on here, so it's not a great example of that, but everything flows seamlessly between one and the other. And that is it. Do we take questions? No questions. Yeah? Anybody have any questions? She's going to bring you a mic, sorry.
What's the difference between live versus in post?
Yeah, so traditionally, live is your event, you're recording while you're shooting. Post is after the fact. Any traditional post-production, but we allow you to do a semi-live. It's a real-time edit in post, and because you have all your source footage and metadata, it's real easy to edit and move around. Thank you.
How do you handle the data storage requirements that are far in excess of what an iPad can handle?
Great question. We have tight integration with iCloud. So, the iPads are getting pretty large in the amount of storage, depending upon the bit rates you're working with. We put stuff in the cloud and we can easily transfer it. We also do a lot of, we use Apple handoff and continuity technology to move files off onto PCs.
Do you allow for proxy files?
Forgive me, define proxy files for me.
Proxy files are files that are smaller bit rate, lower resolution, that represent the master file.
Sure. Fortunately, we're able to do everything in full resolution, believe it or not. We thought our architecture originally was going to be built like that. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you everybody for your time. Enjoy the show.